Hi, welcome to day 3 of Creative Visible Visionaries. Today, I want to talk to you about how to clear your timeline since I've been mentioning it. I'm Ellen Light, and I'm a rapid transformational hybrid hypnosis therapist and a somatic transformational coach. Which this means is my specialty is helping people clear trauma and negative beliefs out of their body, which means out of their lives. So today we're going to do the deep dive so that you know how to clear those energies that are affecting you and making you work much harder than you need to be. So I want you to think about the next step that you would like to be taking in your business. Do you want to call on a person or a company? Do you want to put a product out there? Do you want to raise your fees? So when you think about doing that, if you notice what emotion comes up and where that lands in your body, that's how we clear the timeline and clear your negative beliefs so that you can get to contributing to this world your awesomeness without the struggle. Okay, so we get imprinted from early on. Unfortunately, a lot of sensitive, spiritual, mission-oriented people have had early traumas, and my guess is that it is because that the gifts that are developed out of that trauma are necessary for their life's mission. I don't know, but that's how it looks in my 35-year practice, okay? So what can happen in childhood is abandonment, neglect, abuse, sexual trauma, sexual abuse, and the body can go into freeze, or the body can just have a trapped emotion in it. And then also the mind is going to make a deduction about what that means about us as a person when these traumas happen to us. So we can change those. They aren't permanent, but we've got to go back and find those sensations and often speak to that younger self. Oh, let me finish that timeline. So early on is the trauma, neglect, abuse. Later on, it might be being embarrassed in public, parents getting a divorce, somebody leaving, changing schools, going to a different country, getting turned down for a job, not getting invited to the prom, being a victim of pranks. There are so many things that happen to us, and we dust ourselves off, put on our face, and keep going, which is good and useful at the time, but we don't want that old energy dragging us. I'm told by my mentors that 92 to 98% of success is clearing that inner game. So let's do it, okay? So I want you to think about your next step that you want to take. And now notice that if things don't go well, or even just thinking about taking that next step, what is the body sensation that comes up? What is the emotion that comes up? And what is the thought? Because we want to clear that negative belief. So we do that by finding it in the body. Is it in your gut, your heart? Some people don't feel past their neck, but we encourage you anyway if that's you. Is that your heart, your gut? Is it really only in the head? Okay, so we find it in there. This sensation holds the emotion and the belief, and when you're present to the sensation, it releases the emotion and the belief. I know it sounds a little too easy, but trust me on this. I have used it for years and it works. So going into your body, I want you to think about that step. raising your prices, making that call. So find the sensation. Give it a 1 to 10. How strong is it? Notice if there's an emotion or a thought. And then notice, how old do you feel when you're feeling that sensation and emotion? Child or current age adult? Because we want to trace it to the child if that's available in there. So dialoguing with the child is one of the most important tools that you'll ever learn, because that inner child is who's carrying those sensitive emotions. And in our culture, we kind of say, like, get over it, put on your big girl panties, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But how it actually heals so that you're not dragging that old emotion around is by acknowledging the feeling. So I want you to start practicing when you speak to your inner child. I want you to acknowledge their feeling. Say, of course you're sad. Or, you have the right to be angry. You didn't deserve that. And you don't need to be logical about this. You do need to acknowledge their feeling and tell them they have the right to their feeling. And then see if they want a hug. If not, give them space. Don't rush. And when you're dialoguing with the child, the most important thing is acknowledge the feeling, get into rapport. Then you'll begin to see and feel the child as they change. And then we want to see, what belief are they carrying about themselves because of the incident. So if you're working along with me, remember your belief and bring that back so that you can dismantle it. And this is how you would say it to the child. So if the child is feeling like, I'm unlovable, I want you to say the opposite to them. Or if they're saying, like, I'm a failure, I'll never be good at anything, say the opposite to them. Like, you matter, you're valuable. You have many gifts. You will excel in other things. We want to bring our adult awareness in to turn that negative belief around. And always say to the child, you're not alone. I've got your back. I'm here for you. You matter. So when I'm working with clients, very often we're breathing and just allowing the sensation to move, and that's all that's necessary. Often we're dialoguing with that inner child. Sometimes I'm adding in tapping to get energy moving in the body, because some of us have a lot of stuff glued down in there for many years. Okay, now the special case is if there was a trauma that was so overwhelming that we went into freeze, we need to thaw that first before we can access any emotion or belief. So we need to be patient and kind and loving when there's freeze. So if it's a big trauma, very often if it's sexual trauma, there will be freeze. Or there's a big shock. Even a car accident can leave a shock. I had a client that was hit in the head with a golf ball on a golf course one time, and she was in full-on freeze and trauma. It was very unexpected. So for freeze, I want you to notice, is it tight? Is it hard? Is it empty? Is it solid? Is it dark? Is it light? So stay curious. You go into the body sensation always with compassion and curiosity and allowing it to be as it is. You're breathing, allowing, staying curious. And in the case of freeze, you can use words like, it was too much. I couldn't feel it. It was too much for me. I couldn't stay present. even I had to split. I couldn't be there. And as you're with freeze, it's probably good to have a professional help you, be present to you, hold space for you, and help you through that. And maybe after you've done it a few times with a professional, then you can do that for yourself. I can do it for myself now. And in early days, I would leave the room 7 times to go to the bathroom. I couldn't be present to any feeling. And now I can feel them all. So it gets easier. And there are only 4 primary sensation feelings that you're going to be dealing with: apathy, grief, fear, and anger. And you can do it. And all you have to do is feel it and breathe, acknowledge it, keep breathing, and then you will have so much more joy, freedom, and health and ease so that you can bring your gifts into the world. Because all of this old stuff blocks us from being our most creative, our most, courageous, our most magnificent selves. And I know that some of you listening to this have special gifts to contribute, and I'm here to support you. Thanks so much for being here today. Bye for now.